Hey, welcome to Church Unplugged, and I'm Pastor Frederick Intimensa, and this is where we talk about the stuff that doesn't usually make into the sermon, the behind the scenes of church life, the honest stuff. So for this first episode, I'm excited. I want to start with something simple but kind of big. What pastors wish people knew. And I don't mean that in a bitter way. That isn't a secret list of complaints. It is more like if you could sit down with a pastor after service, when the lights are off, the shoes are off, ties loosened, and just ask, hey, what is it really like? This is that convo. The first one I want you to know is that we are not spiritual superheroes. There is this unspoken expectations that pastors have special level of peace or patience, like we wake up humming worship songs and never lose our tempers in traffic. But honestly, we are just people. We get anxious, we doubt ourselves, we snap at our kids sometimes, we forget to pray, we eat too much pizza and call it fellowship. And yet, there is this pressure to be always on, to smile, to sound wise, to be calm, center of the storm. Some Sabbaths I will finish preaching, and the minute I walk off stage, my brain just exhales. Like, please, no more worries for a while. It's not that we don't love people, we do. But constant availability can wear you. I think a lot of pastors wished people knew how human that fatigue is. How it's not a lack of faith, it is just being alive. The second one I want you to know is ministry is emotional labor, not just preaching. You know, most people see the sermon, maybe the counseling appointment, the visible stuff. But what they don't see are the late night tests when someone is in crisis, the hospital visits, the funerals, the coffee meetings that go 3 hours because someone's heart is breaking. It's a beautiful work, trust me, holy even, but it is heavy. Because you end up carrying a lot of other people's stories and you don't always get to set them down. Sometimes I drive home from a visit and I just sit in the car for a few minutes before I walk inside. Not because I'm sad, exactly, but because I need a second to breathe before I switch back into a husband mode, parent mode, or friend mode. I think that's something people forget. Pastors aren't just doing spiritual tasks. They are absorbing emotional weight all week long. The third one I want you to know is that the church isn't a show, it's a shared table. Here is something that might sound obvious, but often it isn't. Church isn't meant to be a product. It is not a service to rate or a vibe to consume. It's a family table where everyone brings something. I have noticed a kind of shift in the last decade or so. We've gotten good at attending church, but not always at belonging to it. And that's not me pointing fingers. It's just the world we live in. We review everything now, don't we? Restaurants, shows, we even review sermons. But I think most pastors wish people knew how the church works. And you know, the church works best when it is participatory, when people show up, not asking what's the plan, but how can I help? Some of the most meaningful ministry I have seen didn't happen on a stage. It happened in the kitchen, in the hospital waiting rooms, in the little text messages that said, hey, I've been thinking of you. That's church too, friends. The fourth one I want you to know, and most pastors wish people knew, is that pastors want to be known, not just listened to. This one is personal because it's strange being the person everyone knows, but few people really know. People recognize your face, your family, your sermon illustrations, but they don't always see the human behind all that. I remember once someone asked me, hey, how are you really doing? And then actually waited for me to answer. That probably sounds small, but I still think about it because pastors spend a lot of time listening and not a lot of time being heard. Most of us aren't looking for special treatment. We just want a space to be real without it becoming gossip fodder. The fifth thing I want you to know, and most pastors want you to know, is that we make mistakes too. And maybe that's the last thing. Pastors mess up. We say things wrong. We forget names. We make bad calls sometimes. And the thing is, we feel that. Like you go home after a service and replay every awkward moment in your head. Did I offend someone? Should I have said that differently? It's weird how the same grace we preach can feel hard to accept ourselves. But at the end of the day, that's what the church is supposed to be about, right? A community of imperfect people who keep showing up for each other. And so, my friends, that's what I can think for now. What people should know, that we are not saints in suits. We are human beings trying to follow Jesus while juggling emails, emotions, and a half-drunk cup of tea. And maybe that's not a flaw in the system. Maybe it's the point. Because if grace only applies to the congregation and not the people leading it, then it's not really grace, isn't it? Thanks for listening to Church Unplugged. If any of this hit home, or if there's something you wish pastors knew, I would love to hear it. You can reach out to me, send me a message, and I'll see you next time. Church Unplugged. Bye for now.